Ayasha, the oldest woman in the village, looking up at the burning sky and sighed. The sun spat out arrows of fire like an angry warrior who could not be stopped. There were no rain clouds to be seen. The stream had dried up. As a little girl, Ayasha had tried to catch the moon as it floated in the water, leaping with the ripples, and now it was gone. It is evil magic that had sucked up our stream and driven the rain clouds away, some whispered. Others said, no, we must go upstream and find out what has happened. So, a messenger was sent to the village where the stream began to find out the truth. When he reached the village, the messenger was shocked to see that their stream had been made captive. The chief of the village had built a dam because he did not want to share the water with anybody else. A tall wall now stood, holding back the stream. The messenger saw that it tried to leap above the wall, but it fell back each time defeated. He then went up to the chief and said, you must break this dam and set our stream free. Without our stream, we will all die. The stream begins here, and so it is mine. The chief said. The messenger was a small man. He stood as tall as he could and said, you will regret this. At first, the people did not understand the messenger's word. Hadn't the stream flowed through the village for so many years? How could it suddenly belong to one person alone? We will go to the chief and talk to him, the elders of the village said. The chief laughed at them and said once again, the stream is mine. But we need water, said an elder. I will give you water, said the chief. The chief called out to one of his tribesmen and whispered something in his ear. The man returned with a small cup that contained some muddy water. Drink this to your heart's content, roared the chief. The elders of the village returned home in silence. However, the young people of the village will not admit defeat so easily. We cannot sit here doing nothing, they said. The warriors went to the village upstream to fight. The tips of their arrows shone bright under the cutting blade of the sun. They stood and challenged the chief. But before the words had left their mouths, a sea monster, whose eyes were red suns rose from the water, glared at them. The chief had brought him from the sea to frighten away the warriors. But with one slash of his mighty tail, the sea monster killed all of them. Then the sea monster went back to the stream to sleep.
They say his eyes can shoot balls of fire, said Ayasha's grandson, as she sat quietly by the dry stream. He is made of the sun itself, the child said. Ayasha looked at the knobly bones on her grandson's chest and said nothing. He spread out his thin arms as wide as he could and said, this is how big his head is. A small smile cracked open Ayasha's tight lips. There was nothing left to do now but to go to the Gitche Manito, the crater. Gichimanito listened to the people of the village as they told him all that had happened. He watched the sad sag of their shoulders. He heard the weirdness in their dry voices. Gichimanito's heart filled with love. He would save them, he decided. He called for Koluscap, the great spirit. He was the only one who could stop the sea monster. The people of the village cheered when they saw Koluscap. He looked like a warrior. He was tall, taller than the tallest tree in the village. His face was half black, half white. He could be gentle as well as terrifying, the people knew. A great eagle perched on his right shoulder. Its talons were burning stars, and its beak was cruel and calm. Two wolves, one black and two white, walked by Koluscap's side. Koluscap's stride as he walked to the village upstream was firm and unflinching. When he reached the village, he called out to the chief, "Let the stream free or prepare to the fight." The chief made no reply. Koluscap called out again, "The stream is for everybody. It is not one man's plaything." Still, there was no answer. Now, Koluscap strung his bow. At once, the earth shook. It was the sea monster. Koluscap knew. His wolves paved the ground. Their noses twitched. The eagle could see the sea monster as it rose from the water. Koluscap watched its unblinking eye and knew it was the time. He was ready. The sea monster was furious. He had been woken up from his slumber by Koluscap. With a mighty roar, the sea monster tried to crush Koluscap with its food. But the two wolves plunged their sharp teeth into his scaly flesh. The sea monster howled in pain. He tried to shake away the wolves, but their yellow eyes were fixed on his feet. One step towards Koluscap, and they would bite him again. The sea monster turned towards Koluscap and sent out a ball of fire from his terrible jaws. Koluscap swerved, and the tree behind him caught fire. The sea monster was so angry that he shook his head wildly. Before he could send out another ball of fire, Koluscap's eagle flew swiftly and plucked out his eyes, one and the other. The red suns had so terrified the people of the village were now gone. But the sea monster was still fighting. His pride was hurt, and he was now more dangerous because he did not care about dying. He kicked away the wolves as they tried to dig their teeth into his flesh. He was approaching so fast that Koluscap could feel the monster's hot breath stinging his hair. Koluscap began to grow. He grew and grew till he was so huge that the sea monster was only the size of his foot. And then Koluscap brought down his great foot on the beast. He held on as the monster thrashed around the rage. Finally, when his foot burned more, he lifted it and looked at the sea monster gently. With a wave of his mighty arm, Koluscap broke the dam. The stream was free. In joy, it galloped towards the village like a wild foal. When the people of the village saw their stream leap towards them, their eyes lit up. Ayesha's grandson smiled and his bony chest heaved in joy. Ayesha was so happy to see the stream that she forgot her age and jumped into a girl once more. As the people watched her swim in the stream, the years falling off her back, they too forgot themselves and leapt in. The people swam in the stream till night fell and the moon floated in the water. Some of them remembered their chores and then climbed to the banks of the stream, tired but happy. But some of them never climbed back. They followed Ayasha's as she chased the moon in the stream, her silver fish bag glinting. They would swim in the water forever, the people who loved their stream so much that they become fishes. They could swim forever in the water that belonged to everyone.